Before you scroll, before you assume this is just another military drill story, stay with me. Because what's unfolding in Guyana right now is far bigger, quieter, and far more dangerous than most people realize. On the surface, the US military presence in Guyana looks routine. Joint exercises, security cooperation, training missions, all wrapped in the language of partnership. But beneath that calm surface sits one of the largest oil discoveries of the modern era, an estimated $17 trillion worth of oil packed into a tiny country that most of the world couldn't find on a map 5 years ago. And history tells us something very uncomfortable about moments like this. When massive energy wealth appears suddenly in a geopolitically sensitive region, the military is never far behind. Guyana didn't ask to become important overnight, but oil changed everything. In less than a decade, it went from an overlooked South American nation to a strategic hotspot sitting right next to Venezuela, a country with its own economic collapse, territorial claims, and a long history of tension with Washington. Now ask yourself this. If you were the United States, would you leave a $17 trillion oil corridor exposed in a region where rivals are watching closely? Of course not. That's where Guyana comes in. Officially, the US says it's helping Guyana protect its sovereignty, modernize its defenses, and ensure regional stability. Unofficially, this is about securing future energy flows, countering rival influence, and making sure that one of the world's fastest growing oil producers stays firmly inside the Western orbit. This isn't about tanks on beaches. It's about positioning, access, and leverage. The kind of leverage that doesn't make headlines until it's already locked in. And here's where the trap begins. For Guyana, oil promises prosperity, jobs, infrastructure, and a chance to escape poverty forever. Let me pause here and ask you something directly, because this is the moment most people miss. If a small country's wealth depends on foreign companies, foreign security, and foreign markets, who really controls its future? That question sits at the center of Guyana's story. The US military isn't there to colonize. It's there to stabilize the environment in which American and allied oil interests can operate without disruption. And from Washington's perspective, this makes perfect sense. Energy security is national security. With global supply chains under strain, conflicts spreading, and rivals like China expanding their footprint, securing friendly oil producers close to home is strategic gold. Guyana is geographically close, politically cooperative, and resource-rich. It's almost too perfect. But perfection comes with risk. Venezuela has openly disputed Guyana's territory, and as Guyana's oil wealth grows, that dispute becomes more tempting, not less. A sudden oil boom in a weakly defended country is an invitation for pressure, both diplomatic and military. The US presence sends a clear signal: escalation will be costly. Yet, signals cut both ways. For rivals, this looks like another example of US power projection under the banner of stability. For ordinary Guyanese citizens, it's a mixed blessing. Protection on one hand, loss of autonomy on the other. And zoom out for a second, because this isn't just about Guyana. This is about how the next energy map of the world is being secured before most people even realize it's being drawn. While headlines focus on wars and elections, quiet military partnerships are locking in future supply routes, influence zones, and strategic dependencies. The $17 trillion oil trap isn't that Guyana will fail, it's that success itself pulls the country into a game where the rules are set elsewhere. And history shows us that once a nation's security becomes intertwined with a superpower's strategic interests, walking away is almost impossible. Now, think about this from your own perspective. When energy, money, and military power intersect, volatility follows. Markets react, currencies move, and political decisions suddenly affect daily life far beyond borders. These aren't distant stories. They shape fuel prices, inflation, and global stability in ways most people only feel after it's too late. So the real question isn't why the US military is in Guyana. The real question is what kind of world is being built quietly, one partnership at a time, while the rest of us are distracted. If this story made you see geopolitics a little differently, if it made you question what security really means in a resource-hungry world, then this channel is for you. Subscribe, because we don't just talk about what's happening, we talk about why it matters before it hits your life. And trust me, The oil beneath Guyana is only the beginning.